Welcome to the awards announcement for the IAPS 2021 Gallery Exhibition, including the 38th Open Division and the 6th Master Circle Division. I'd like to introduce our judge, Fred Summers, a PSA Hall of Fame honoree and an IAPS eminent pastelist. Fred, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this exhibition.
Hello, Red. Thank you so much. I can't tell you, having been in the pastel world for a few years, these events are absolutely a joy of joys. I want to thank the IAPS committee, and especially Richard McKinley, my friend, and the spectacular Joe B. Art Center is just absolutely wonderful. The photos that are coming in from that space, what a gift the Chicago area has of that art center. I want to thank the jurors Jimmy Wright and Hala Shafi and Ray Hassard for choosing the exhibit, picking out the quality work. And especially I want to thank Tatiana and the Chicago pastel painters. I have a special place in my heart for them. And also Shirley Anderson. Shirley has come alongside and been with me for a number of months preparing for this day. And everyone on the exhibit committee that worked hard, I know how much the volunteer mean to IAPS and all of us as artists. It's really a privilege. Before I begin tonight, I just wanted to share a couple things that are important to me. It was a visit that I had with Maggie Price, and Maggie asked me to share something at IAPS on how I thought. And this idea of thinking is very important in my world, and it affects my judging and the thoughts that I have about how artists think. Admittedly, I'm not going to be able to interpret in people's minds, but it's something that I bring to the thinking process of mine as I look at artwork. Besides the craft and all the parts that make a beautiful painting, that is very important to me. And I look for ideas and people that push borders and boundaries. I like border pushers, people who are looking not only at materials, but at concepts. They are looking at ideas. They are looking at subjects. All of us as artists begin painting what we see, and what we see is often other artists' work, but the seeing that comes out of our heart to see how we uniquely see is a very important aspect, and something that I look for in artists. And I think this one is pursuing that, and they have caught something of that inner voice. So that unique expression and what I call the eyes of the heart. So with that, why don't we begin, Red? And thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Fred, for taking such care and consideration for our judging our exhibition. All right, we'll start with the first award of merit for the 38th Open Division, sponsored by Show Submit, and the winner is Karen Stombach, The Color of Water, Dreamscape Series number 9.
One of the things that really touched me about this piece by Karen was when I look for marks, I feel that personal marks drive style. That when you are looking at subjects that you love to paint, style will come out in your marks. And this piece by Karen, I felt, was exhibiting The water and the woods are my world. I love in, and especially in Minnesota with the blue sky. You'd never have blue water. Blue water is a reflection of sky. And Karen has such unique marks in here that I believe are her interpretation of the things that are in the landscape. The traditional things of sharp edges and hard and soft are evident, and the background of the pond touching the back edge is so soft. But each tree reflection is done very uniquely, very specially, and shows evidence of a lot of care of watching the light touch. And her mark making, I think, is really a great testimony there.
Beautiful. The second award of merit, sponsored by the IAPS Globe team, Lisa Rico, Sabrina Hill, and Lynn Attic, is Vladislav Tatarinov, Light Shades of Winter.
This sweet artist, I fell in love with this painting, and living in the North Country, and this previous winter, I had actual 40 below Fahrenheit actual temperature at my farmhouse studio here in Minnesota. When you live in the snow country, this painting exhibits and exudes the beauty that it is in a winter. I actually feel sad when the snow leaves. One of the things that's a gem with middle value, a little bit into the darks, and the high key nature of it. And every single area has colors beyond words. The colors in the shadows and in the light, the yellows, the purples, reds, pinks, and then the touches in the landscape that are abstract marks. And you don't know if they're objects or people, but that's part of the joy of a winter, is the bright clothing and some of the things. I purposely made my farmyard buildings red so that I would have a touch of color during the long winters. But I just really thought this was a really outstanding winter painting and full of light. Wonderful piece.
The next award of merit, sponsored by the Arkansas Pastel Society, is Beth Williams' Winter Thaw.
I had a tornado that took a third of my trees down 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and this painting is a part of a northern landscapes lifestyle. And I immediately, this person loves this piece. It fills up nearly 20%. The fire fills up 20%. It's not just a little campfire for hot dogs. This is a serious, beautiful fire. And if it was a waterscape, the fire is done in a manner with hard and soft edges, as if it was a spray of water instead of a spray of fire and light. People mostly don't know that orange is middle value. And so you have to set up the painting with the darks in there. And it's just a wonderful, the shapes of the background trees with the soft grayer look, and then the accents to make that brilliant fire. I love the blue sky. There's a lot of turquoise blue in the sky. So that warmness comes, and then as it touches through the fire, accents that fire in such a way. And then I believe that there's such a tasteful touch of a cool blue in the shadows, just to the left of that fire. This takes such mark grace to just put just enough to make it work and express the beauty of this piece. So Winslow Homer did a number of fire paintings. They said you could even tell the wood that he used in the fire that he painted. But I love this this is what I do during the winter, is make big fires like this. Thank you for that beauty.
Wonderful. The next award of merit is by Corey Goulet, and it's called Retreat.
Corey, this is one of the first pieces I picked. It was number 35, so it was in the beginning of the show, but I just love the marks of this piece. This piece is so unique. There is such a freedom, but the marks are so important. They are not repetitive. They are unique in every part and way. The cascading of there's some sideways darker marks that go up to the center right by that phthalo, or yeah, the phthalo green, or the turquoise color, but they are almost like plant forms and unique organic botanicals. I often feel that abstract paintings that stem out of the beauty of creative world that's around us will have a freshness and a beauty. And I believe this person is making marks that matter because of their distinct love for the things that stir them to paint paintings like this. The other thing is, I wanted to make a comment about the composition. The composition is just amazing, with the blue that is both dynamic and subtle in there, and then these red touches. Red is middle value, and the blue dark value, red middle, and yellow light. But the reds in here with those touches are just a wonderful surprise in that piece. What a really fresh abstract painting. I really like that piece.
Wonderful. Our next award is the third place in honor of Paula Ford, sponsored by David Patterson. And the artist is Laura Mochnick, and the painting is called Refreshing.
Laura, this painting, I don't, it touched my heart. I kept coming back to this. Maybe it's because I feel like I'm in that age. It looks like a grandpa, and he's getting refreshed with water. But it is so grace-filled and tender. One of the things that is so beautiful about it is the understatement of the expression of the action that says so much about that portrait. That person right there, it tells so much about it. The presence of the grays in the background, and the mark across his t-shirt, and that little color kick of red there by the edge where the neck skin color touches the t-shirt shadow. And there's a harmony. This painting is one. This man is one with the water. He isn't just a man in the water, he's a part of the water in here. The way, one of the things that I look for to make a good painting is the adjustment of more color and more detail, and less color and less detail, and hard and soft edges. This is like he's picking up water that has some of the colors of himself, and he's bringing it up with refreshing. The edges all the way around the t-shirt and his hair, and the marks of the drops that spray off to the side there, to our right and his left. I feel so strongly about this beautiful little painting, and thank you for doing it. And I hope we see many more pieces that your heart is expressing with the medium of pastel, and these subjects that you are so beautifully stating from the eyes of your heart.
Wonderful. Our next award is the second place in honor of Maggie Price, and the winner is Michelle Ashby, How much longer?
This painting has qualities so unique. I want people to look. Every single painting that I'm picking, there's such things that are so, I feel, so important. And each of them have some of the same things, but what I'm asking about the style of your heart by the subject, I want you to look. This painting is so beautiful. The values and the composition is so outstanding. The the linear dark line that goes right in by the ear and the left is his left eye, our right from our viewing. The hand holding, I look at the dot pattern in the finger and then down into the hand, and then the shape of his t-shirt, then the repeating of the form with the other hand coming down, and then his two eyes, one in shadow and one in light. The light, you have light and dark come together with detail in that to make it. But look at what they have done, the beautiful touch on the light of that chin on his right side and the painting's left. The value structure of this painting's value is so important, and it is the bones and the structure of a painting. And this painting is just a beauty. I hope that people can spend time looking at that and the wonderful. This is just a wonderful portrait. I hope again to see more work by this person. This to interpret the outside shapes to make a painting like that shows a skill and something of this person's heart that I want to see more of.
Wonderful. Our next award is the first place in honor of Urena Christie Tarbett, and the winner is Silja Silmistu Sunflower.
I worked 11 years in gladiola fields in Nebraska, and flowers are one of my great joys. And this piece just absolutely, sunflowers are so easy to do, like, like a bullseye. This has an expression of the reality and nature of life, the way sunflowers grow and turn down, the way they lay, the composition with the beautiful, there's some hot spots in a painting design, that one is in one of the dynamic hot spots, but the other one is also in one, but tipping that cadmium orange, tipping it off to the side like sprays of water in the water pieces. This has the same qualities of the beautiful petal that just turns over. If you do everything equal, it negates the beauty and it negates the power of something. More does not necessarily bring power or an expressive quality. The less in this is so wonderful. I like the warm center of the flower, and then the cooler bottom shadow area there that transitions down makes for a wonderful pop of that sunflower. The the surround is so free. The surround area is such a surprise. The negative space area, it is so loose, but it anchors, and it's like the word complement means something that is alongside that helps and does not overpower, but it makes what is there better. And I really like the complement of the surrounding area that makes that such a powerful piece.
Wonderful. Our best in show for the 38th Open Division is, the artist is Elena Degenhardt, and the painting's name is Inheritance from the Pandemic Kids series.
This painting I did not know what the subject was. Is just a young girl and this beautiful blue color. Blue for me happens to be the color of hope. Blue is the darkest color, the most beautiful in the darks. And when light shines in the darkness, the first colors that are seen are evidence of light. And I loved this blue. Whatever the symbolism is, it was fantastic for me. And the sweet little girl, my heart went out. The combination of the soft dream look and the skills of that portrait, and then the loose blue marks. One of the things I wanted to address that I believe that this artist is pushing into a boundary and a border that I believe is really powerful. Pastels have a capacity and an ability that is unique to all painting medium. I had an internationally known watercolorist in one of my recent pastel shows, and he stood and said, "I cannot achieve that." And he pointed to a spot in which I had applied wet pigment physically, and it stuck out slightly on the paper. He said, "That is impossible for me to achieve with my watercolors." And it had a level of light and color in that way that was not achievable. I want the pastel world to know how unique and powerful and expressive pastels are. It isn't just a dry medium, but there are things not of just like a wet underpainting, but there's things that when it is wet, it can do things that nothing else can do. And when it is dry, watercolors can't do them, and oils can't do them, and acrylics can't do them. So I wanted to make this comment. This piece stood out to me as one of these paintings where the wet and the dry and the powerful images are more powerful because of some of this. And the more, when I said, when you have a subject matter and you start pursuing that, your marks will alter and adjust for each individual person to make something that only pastels can achieve. I just, I'm reminded of Odilon Redon, and I've talked with Jimmy and some others about Odilon Redon with his incredible colors, and I immediately thought of this little painting with that kind of thing. But I just want to say I really treasure this painting. I just thought, I don't know what size it is, I don't know anything about it, but it was a big piece in my heart, and I am honored to give it this prize. And I'm thankful for the artist creating this piece, and for the pursuit of excellence that has to do with the dry and wet in the pastel world. Keep it up, and let's see what we can do to blow everybody away from how awesome our medium of pastel is.
Wonderful. All right, now we will move to the 6th Master Circle Division. And the first award is the Award of Excellence, sponsored by the Pastel Art Promotion Association of Taiwan. And the winner is Tony Elaine Nelson Yacht Club.
Tony is just so outstanding. It's hard not to know a Tony, and Tony is an example by far of someone who has making marks for his world. The fresh color making and mark making that Tony has in here, the pulling across of that beautiful dark background that brings the staccato of the sails. I particularly love the way that he has all these warm blues in the sky, light value and middle value down the landscape. But as you move across the sails, those white sails to the right have a dramatic color shift in blue. And that dark blue in the shadow there just sings with such a magnificent way. It needs that dark background to have that. Otherwise, that color would look dark on a light background. But Tony, this is an absolute beauty, and his handling of the saturation and the others and his mark making are just outstanding. And I thank you, Tony, for this piece.
The second award of excellence, sponsored by the Red Rock Pastel Society. The winner is Tara Will, painting named Canyon Lace.
It's, one of my favorite, whether it is or not, is the Terry Ludwig turquoise series. And this piece, I live in the North Country, and my entire experience of the Southwest is because of my trips down there to IAPS. I just love this piece, the way that the turquoise color in the sky comes across with the sky holes and that background. The background trees, which are the main expression of the landscape there, and then the unique way with these abstract shadows that come down into the foreground landscape. The difference in those and the trees and the background are very, very high quality mark making. They distinguish each other from each other and don't detract from each other. I really, really like this piece, the masterful way that they combined the shapes of the foreground, the ground, and the shapes of the main part of the landscape. Thank you very much for this piece.
Our next award of excellence is given to Nancy King Mertz for The Provider.
Nancy, I really, really love this piece. This is the world that I grew up in and the world I live in around here, these old farm buildings. And Nancy, the quality of the abstract shapes of the light, the rimlet with the peeking through the different parts where the farm equipment drive through and they have different functions. They need those openings for the farm build. But each one is like a unique painting. When you go and look at the right square door with the bright lights and the sun hitting that one side with that red flare, and the door, the structure underneath the tower, every single one of those things is a little story. The detail in the shadows is just magnificent. And you have really captured the rural landscape with a love and a tenderness that a farmer could tell you all the details of this, but it's done in such a magnificent way with the light. The foreground green grass that nestles down in there is also part of the complement of that red inside of the building that just glows from that sunlight on the one side. I really, really am very, very excited about this piece, and it is just a beautiful rural landscape. Thank you very much.
Our next award of excellence goes to Michael Freeman for Lockdown Under.
I could not get away from Michael's piece. Michael, I believe, is one of these border boundary pushers, and we're all watching. I'm watching what's happening with his piece. The magnificent handling of the pastel medium, the grays against but there's a content and subject that he has brought in this piece that I feel the borders of concept and ideas are being stirred in him. And I really look forward to seeing what he is able to do and achieve, because he's thinking about things, and this will affect his paintings. He's, I believe, having breakthroughs in seeing with his heart, and not only with his eyes. Watch his heart in these paintings. I believe this is a key piece. Thank you, Michael, for your pushing the borders of concept.
Our next award is the Bronze Award, and that will be given to Mary Sullivan for his favorite flannel.
This subject of this sleeping man has all of the qualities of the things that I have spoken of, but just in a unique way. The edges of the foreground arm and hand, and the other side, that far hand, the turned face, the understatement of his face and that cap. Look at what she has done with values. Look at the light and the color of his wrist and hand, and then moving back through his shirt into that middle value of his face, and then the bright little cadmium, the saturated name tag on the front. I looked and spent a lot of time looking in the background. That background makes the piece. It's not, it's one of the largest open spaces in there, but it's full of curiosity and detail. The Rembrandt, it's a Rembrandt light that I really, really love. And these pieces, like the water piece that I talked about earlier, this piece says something deep about this person, even though we don't have a full face portrait of him. We are seeing a lot about this man and about the love that this artist has for this subject matter. Perhaps it's family or a friend, but I really think that she has captured something very special and eternal and unique. Thank you for this tender moment that you share with us. It's really beautifully done.
Our next award is the Silver Award, sponsored by the Appalachian Pastel Society, and it goes to Barbara Janicki for Winter's Coat.
Barb and I live in the North Country, and she knows about the North and the landscape. One of the powerful things of Barb's is the understatement that says more. Like the fire piece with the soft edges, these tufts of grass are like flames that come up in the landscape. They're understated by the shape and the simple context, but the marks that she puts in there, the simple marks of evidence of how that grass grows in there and the light catches it, make them so unique and special. None of them are the same. You look at the way she moves across that ridge there, where the rim light, where the light of the sun and the light of the shadow touch, and these tufts of grass, every single one of them are different. And she's playing this beautiful dynamic of the golden warm colors against the shadows and the high contrast of the snow. These kind of things might perhaps be there, but often or not, you add and subtract, and you do things in the landscape to create this kind of beauty. When you look at both the shadows and the sunlight, they're full of dancing colors and full of unique colors of the similar value. I just want to thank her very, very much for this beautiful expression of a North Winter landscape.
Our next award is the Gold Award, sponsored by the Pastel Society of the West Coast and a Sense of Place Gallery. And this award goes to Jeannie Rosier-Smith for Intimate Ocean.
This piece by Jeannie, I want you to look at each of the parts. They are like the tufts of spray of the water. I thought of my painting waterfalls, but this is the ocean. But Jeannie has made a portrait of the anatomy and the beauty of each little tuft of spray and the uniqueness. Look at the way she has placed that top. It's like hanging the composition from there, but the dark blues across the top silhouette the beautiful sprays that she has put of the water as it mists and curls over. Her marks in the marks of the darks down in the bottom, and then the beautiful things that she has done in the shadows in that center green waterscape area are so special and unique. They all are unique and signature of something that's happening there that no other spot in the seascape is evident. There is such a skill and an understanding of water in here. And I've been watching a lot of these seascapes, but this piece with the square form like this is doing something so powerful. It allows and contains this dynamic. And there's a shape in there like the Fibonacci shape, the dynamic Fibonacci shape in there. I just really found this piece just to be a very, very beautiful painting that I wanted to honor and to talk about today. Beautiful job, Jeannie. This is a beautiful piece. Thank you.
Lovely. And finally, we come to our Prix de Pastel, and that award goes to Julie Freeman for The Art of Zen.
Julie's one of the people I believe are pushing conceptual boundaries. I looked at this piece. When you take the display of your pastel set, you have a range of, for discussion, I'll call it the Terry Ludwig eggplant, that incredible color. And you have all range of value and color. Julie has taken a middle value way up toward the high key. The high key are the lights. And she has done something in an understatement that's like a whisper and asks you to put your eye of your ear close and listen. There is something about the way she has taken the circular forms, which are man-made, and then because light has shone on them, break up in a way that is so beautiful. And it causes a dynamic, abstract shape where the dark gray shadow of that teacup there on the right with the shape of the cup goes out onto the tabletop. I feel that some of these things, the borders, they could be a water landscape. This could be something floating on water. But because it was a still life, I felt there's a border pushing in this still life. And it caused me to come close and look over and over again. One of the things that I loved about this was the organic, natural thing of that grass, I don't know what those are. I don't have them in my world or my land, but it's just a beautiful mark. And laying over the top of that, I'm guessing it might be an empty cup. I don't know. But the way that Julie has taken the shadows of the that mark across from the light that comes on this left side across, and then is repeated in the softest way in these linear diagonals that go from the lower left up into the upper right. And the color of that napkin and the color of those grass in there, I just think are just outstanding. They beg me to come close and to listen very carefully with my eyes. One of the things that I want to just mention, and then I will, this will be my final comment. Our art world has a Hebrew word that's called inspiration. We hear it all the time as artists, but it comes from a Hebrew word that means the wind and breath of God. And people think about that in our culture. They've expressed it, and it's in our art vocabulary. I just would like to say that I think there is a touch of wind and breath in this that I would like to encourage others to be a part of and to see. I believe Julie is pushing some boundaries that I cheer her and give thanks for her gift. And this piece I want to honor with the Prix de Pastel Award from this exhibit in Chicago. Thank you, Julie, very much.
Wonderful. Okay, Fred, I would love to thank you for how much care and heart that you put into your judging of the show. And it will, we will miss you at the exhibition, but I feel like you're there with us. And you put yourself into into this beautiful judging. I really appreciate it, and we all do.
Thank you. And I to say that it wasn't hard for me. I wanted to be there so bad.
Of course.
And but I know that I'm in the place I should be.
We
And
all have to deal with some disappointment this year, and
I want to thank you for understanding and coming alongside me in this. Thank you, Red, very much. Thank you.
well, thank you, and take care.